A little bit different out here when you get CaitlinClark treatment. It ain't so easy peasy getting to play one-on-one, getting to just do your thing how you want to do it, when you want to do it.
Okay, get ready. The truth is finally out. The WNBA's desperate attempt to create the next CaitlinClark just crashed on a national stage. Paige Bueckers, the media's handpicked star and the so-called heir to Clark's throne, hyped as the savior of women's basketball, just got a harsh reality check, courtesy of the Seattle Storm. And let me tell you, this wasn't just a bad game. It was a full-on exposure. A loud reminder that hype fades quickly when it runs into the cold, hard truth of WNBA defense. So, are you still buying the Paige Bueckers hype? Let us know in the comments, because for the first time, we really saw what happens.
Really get guarded. This is where we saw what is going to happen in year 2. This is the scout report that needs to be out there on Paige Bueckers once the Dallas Wings get good, because Dallas Wings are going to get good at some stage in her career. This was the game where I'm like,
let's just break down the evidence for a second.
Elevation of one Paige Bueckers. Oh, she's better than CaitlinClark. I mean, stab me in the eye with a spoon, for Christ's sakes. Wow. So that's a thing right now. Last night, Paige Bueckers dropped 44 points. And we're going to look at a video that just dissects and exposes a lot of that shit. Let me tell you. It exposes a lot of stuff involving Paige Bueckers getting special.
Remember when Paige's former coach, Gino Orima, made some surprising comments about CaitlinClark? That moment set the tone for how people treated, and honestly mistreated and doubted, Clark right from the start.
Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. You know, Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a...
Paige did snag one impressive stat, becoming the fastest player to 200 points and 50 assists, just edging out Clark's pace by a single game. And let me tell you, that little nugget had analysts absolutely foaming at the mouth, screaming about how polished she was, how ready she looked compared to Caitlin. The hype train was chugging. Full speed with ESPN happily selling first-class tickets. But here's the thing about hype. It only survives until reality slaps it square in the face. And this reality, it was wearing Seattle Storm green.
Davis Cat Engelbert is breathing a sigh of relief. Her pretend friends in the mainstream media, they are trying to crown a new star. If the media has it their way, this could potentially be the new face of pretend basketball. And it's not just the woke media. There are even some in conservative media who are voluntarily biting into the shit sandwich. Headline at Outkick. No, Caitlin, no problem. Paige Bueckers can save the WNBA seat.
Fresh off her overhyped 44-point game against the Sparks, Paige walked into Seattle like the celebration was still going on. But the Storm weren't there to roll out a red carpet. They brought traps, contests, and raw physicality. What followed wasn't a coronation. It was a demolition.
A game against the Los Angeles Sparks, scoring 44 points, but the craziest part about that was her shooting percentage. She shot over 80% from the field, and I tweeted about that, and I was like, that's actually insane. Give props where they are due. Shooting over 80%, scoring 44 points is actually insane. But with this game, like Paige Bueckers she put on a masterclass in scoring, and I think with that.
And when you look at the raw statistics from that game, the numbers are seriously telling a story you won't believe.
Yeah, and you said it's going to be important to be physical with like Paige Bueckers. Can you talk about the defensive game plan for Dallas and like how your team was able to hold them to their fewest points of the season?
Yeah, it started, with our attention to detail with Paige. I thought, Slim was very physical, stayed in her space, and the actions that we guarded her in, we were very aggressive, showed multiple bodies, and kind of made her hesitant to use the ball screen a little bit. I thought we rotated well.
And here's where it gets really interesting. While Paige completely crumbled after just one night of real defensive pressure, CaitlinClark has been living in that exact storm for over a year. She didn't just shake up the league. She redefined it. And what has she gotten in return? Treatment so rough it would make NFL linebackers cringe. The numbers don't lie. 17% of all flagrant fouls in the 2024 WNBA season were committed against Clark alone. That's not basketball. That's open season. That's targeting.
Clark treatment for the first time in her career, and it looked bad. It looked real bad. Everybody was running around. Yeah, she was cooking 44 points versus the Sparks. They didn't play a lick of defense, letting this girl play one-on-one basketball in every area of the floor, letting her post up in the mid-range area one-on-one. Now, I'm giving credit. She's a bucket in one-on-one, especially from that mid-range, from the free throw line down area. But this is the first time we watch teams actively be persistent about taking away her spots.
Want to know who's been doing most of the targeting? Just look at the Chicago Sky. They practically made it a hobby to body Clark, responsible for a staggering 80% of those flagrant fouls. Meanwhile, Paige was out there floating around like it was still a light college scrimmage. The very first time she faced Clark-level intensity, she completely folded. Her shots disappeared, her efficiency evaporated, and her game looked empty. Seattle's defense treated her like the superstar she was hyped up to be and exposed her as anything but. Every possession, she got doubled and absolutely shut down.
And do you want to know what she did as soon as she got blitzed in doubles? She passed. Paige Bueckers, look, she played decent amount early in the game. The game was kind of over and she got subbed out. Paige Bueckers shot 7.
She was doubled 7 times. Yet the media had been parading Paige's shooting percentage like gospel, her smooth 47.4% clip constantly compared to Clark's rookie 41%. They sold it as proof that Paige was the more polished scorer. But here's what they left out. Clark was taking the toughest shots in the league while absorbing constant contact that rarely even drew whistles. Paige's pretty numbers came against soft defense and wide-open looks. The moment she was guarded like a true star, those numbers collapsed. 2 makes on 11 attempts. That's not efficiency. That's a mirage. Gone the second it's tested. Meanwhile, Clark keeps torching defenses built specifically to stop her. She pulls contested threes from 28 feet, drives through hacks, shrugs off elbows, and still fills highlight reels that sell out arenas. Her resilience makes Paige's struggles look even worse. Clark has proven she can take punishment and still perform at a generational level. Paige got one taste of that pressure and completely vanished.
Bueckers, let me ask you this. How did it feel to be blitzed and played 94 feet before you even get a chance to bring the ball up court like your name was CaitlinClark, aka my precious CC? You didn't like that, huh? You hear me? You out there was looking like you was about to cry. Yeah, so what do your fans have to say now? Excuse me, where are you Paige Bueckers fans at? That's y'all MVP and face of the league, right? She's boring. She's not good enough. She gets special treatment. But understand,
she kept getting blitz after blitz after blitz. And let's be real, Paige Bueckers got just one game of CaitlinClark's treatment, and she completely collapsed. The media's so-called next CaitlinClark looked more like a bench option. This is the same player analysts claimed was superior in every way, more poised, more fundamentally sound, more efficient. Yet, the moment the spotlight got hot and the defense got physical, she looked completely lost. That's the difference between hype and history. CaitlinClark has been writing history since day one. Paige Bueckers? She's just another name on the long list of players who couldn't handle the weight of Clark's shadow. The numbers, the film, and the storylines all say the same thing. Paige isn't Clark's heir. She's a product of the media hype machine. And when the Seattle Storm exposed her, it wasn't just a bad game. They ripped the curtain back on an illusion the WNBA and ESPN have been desperate to sell ever since Clark changed the league. Once the truth was revealed, the entire hoax collapsed.
played against CaitlinClark in terms of the defensive strategy, in terms of the other basketball teams around the WNBA, what they did against CaitlinClark versus how they've handled Paige this year. Everybody wants to act like Paige is so much better than Caitlin. They're certainly not playing defense on Paige the way they played on Caitlin. They're certainly not attacking her with unnecessary fouls the way they attacked Caitlin with unnecessary fouls last year. So in the 2024 season, there were 35 flagrant fouls called. CaitlinClark received 17% of the entire season's flagrant fouls, 17%. I mean, we've seen all the injuries, we've seen all the fights, the MMA fights that the WNBA players have gotten into this year. There haven't been 35 flagrant